Hello and welcome to today's video. I've very quickly fallen in love with my new favorite film format, 35mm panoramas. These extremely wide images look like scenes from a movie, and with my background in cinematography and filmmaking, I instantly fell head over heels for this wider aspect ratio, and I don't think I'll ever stop shooting like this whenever I can. So what exactly are we doing here, and how are we achieving this? First off, let's give you some history. When most film photographers think of 35mm panoramic images, they instantly think of the infamous xpan. This completely electronic camera is both insanely expensive and extremely hard to get your hands on, but in this video we're achieving a similar effect by shooting on my Fuji GSW690 Mark II. This comically large 6x9 medium format film camera, rightfully so, has earned itself the nickname the Texas Leica. But in this camera, we're actually going to be putting 35mm film inside of it, which allows us to take those panoramic images. So here we're using a poor man's xpan, also endearingly called the Texpan. By using these cheap plastic adapters, we're able to attach this to a 35mm film roll, and now it will fit into a 120 film camera. On this trip, we were spending most of our time on the coast of Oregon, specifically at Canon Beach, where we find the infamous Haystack Rock. I thought the incredible views of the ocean and the landscapes here would be the perfect subject to shoot some panoramic images on, especially because since it's so wide, landscapes obviously are a very natural subject to shoot. After a couple of initial shots, I thought that I should walk back away from the shore so that I could try to get some foreground elements and really give this scene some more depth, because the nature of the panoramic image can really flatten out a lot of that depth, and we can bring that back by including some foreground elements. After a couple of images here, I decided to drive another hour and a half south toward Cape Muers, which has this really beautiful lighthouse that just shoots up right into the view of this pathway, and here we also get some incredible views. After my time here, I decided to drive all the way back that hour and a half to try and get some sunset pictures overlooking the coast. And unfortunately, during this entire trip, the sun didn't come out a single time, and it was just overcast the entire time. But, you know, that's kind of what you can expect from Oregon. I went up to Crescent Beach, which overlooks Haystack Rock and the coastline. And fun fact, this is actually where a lot of scenes from The Goonies was shot. So there's some fun history for you. And here's that tip coming into play from earlier, where I'm including more foreground elements. And you can really see what I mean here, because this image just feels so much more dynamic and alive compared to something like this. I think that's generally the case with most photography, but especially with panoramic images. The next day, I drove back toward Portland, so this 2-hour drive all the way to Multnomah Falls, which is this beautiful, gigantic waterfall that towers over a man-made bridge that you can go walk across. It's this incredible view. And due to the height of this waterfall, I actually thought it would be very fitting to shoot this vertically. And despite this being really hard to show in a horizontal YouTube video, these came out really well and really captured the entire waterfall more than I was able to on the other medium format camera that I was shooting on, my Fuji 645, and we can really appreciate the full grandeur of the waterfall due to this format. And there's a ton of benefits to using this method for 35mm panoramic images, specifically price. I could literally buy 8 of these cameras for the price of one xpan. So now this camera is serving 2 purposes because I can shoot it in 2 different ways, which gives this camera a new life. And lastly, it is fully mechanical, meaning there's no electronics, no batteries at all, but that means this will be so much easier to repair, and it's built like a tank. So this will probably outlive me. So while this video is completely dedicated to just the panoramic photography, I did make an entire other video showing all of the rest of the images that I took on my Fuji 645 medium format camera. So if you're enjoying this type of content, then I highly recommend watching that one too. Shooting panoramic photography has been such a fresh breath of air. It's been so refreshing and inspiring to shoot something that just is inherently so different from everything else that I'm usually shooting. Having this constraint of a limited field of view really encourages some creative framing, which I've really enjoyed, and every single picture feels like a scene right out of a movie. It just feels so cinematic and beautiful. As I was editing these, I kept telling my wife to come look at them, and I kept saying again and again, these are so beautiful I could cry. But yeah, I've really been enjoying it. And again, I highly recommend to anyone who just wants to mix it up a bit, try something new, or just to feel inspired to go out and try something like this. If you have a medium format camera, these adapters are so cheap. You could do this today. So I highly recommend checking that out. If it's helpful, I'll make a guide on how to mod your camera so that you're able to do this. So if that's something you want to see, drop that in the comments down below. If you like this video, please like it. Do not forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.